Hello, hello. Welcome to Fitness Freedom. As you may have noticed, I have changed my offerings, so I just want to remind you and share with you upfront that I have narrowed down my offerings in the spirit of simplicity and an attitude of moving forward rather than going back to the basics, moving forward. Einstein said something, or was it Einstein? The idea that if you can't explain it to a kid, then you don't really understand it. Like the measure of understanding is not in complexity, but in simplicity. And just going back to what I love and connecting with people one on one through my coaching. So my links are everywhere on my website and my link tree. It's below in the show notes. And want to ask you, even if I can't hear your response, we are limited by space and time here, but pretending that we're not. How are you doing today? How are you feeling? What's going on in your life? Just taking a moment to settle in a little bit more into this episode. A lot of the times I know that when I'm listening to podcast episodes lately, I've been way more intentional than I used to be. I used to like guzzle them. And now I am more intentional with my time. But you just hit play, and I just want to invite you to settle in a little bit. I have been pondering life as always and thinking about next best steps forward for my life and really thinking about how I can help others more through my work and in other ways, but especially through my work. So, another invitation, I don't want to make too many and overwhelm you, but another invitation for you would be to reach out and message me if you feel like there's a particular struggle you're going through or something that you're not able to get. Just reach out, send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, send me an email. I'd love to hear it. Today, I just want to share with you some of the most valuable practices regarding mind and spirit, regarding movement and exercise, regarding food and liquids that I have found to be some of the most rewarding. So there's this idea of starts with the P principle where 80% of results come from 20% of effort, and finding out what those 20% efforts are valuable because they're going to give you the most return for your time. And we are not just productivity machines. I understand that we are humans, but there are certain things that we can do that make huge beneficial differences in our lives. And I just want to share a few of them that I incorporate into my life that I would encourage my clients to do. So pretend like you're my client and I'm just giving a little general talk about what you can start implementing. And of course, more individual understanding of your story, your history, your unique struggles is helpful for more exact feedback. But let's just pretend I'm speaking to an audience all around the world. And here is what I would encourage you to either enhance or continue practicing, or maybe start practicing in your life. This is not a list to overwhelm you. This is not a to-do list filled with check boxes that you need to tick off. This is more to invite you with curiosity. Hey, I wonder how my life would change. I wonder how I would feel if I implemented 1, 2, 3 more of these things. Okay. And I'm going to start with one that before I start with the first one, I always do these disclaimers. We are whole beings. That is the second pillar of the 4-H method: hope, happiness, habits, and health. And under happiness, it's this idea that you could be doing all the right things, but still be miserable. And I know that firsthand. So you could do all the healthy things and still be actually unhealthy, quote unquote healthy things, and still actually be truly unhealthy, as in not well, not thriving, not alive, not enjoying your life. Because we are whole beings, there's nothing missing from us. Our bodies are supports in our lives here on earth. And we are also holistic. So we have the existential side of us, like spiritual. We have the environmental, how our environment affects us. We have our physical, which most health and fitness focuses on. And under that, we could put food and exercise and all the tangible things that you can do with your body. But we also have emotional self, mental self, and social self. And you cannot, the point of when I say holistic, the point of holistic is that you can't take one out and everything else thrives. It is all interconnected. And so when you enhance one area, you're going to improve the other areas. But when you only focus on one and deny the other areas, you're not operating in a holistic way, which we humans are. So I like to include all of these areas of our health in my coaching because it all affects each other. We often in health over focus on the physical side without addressing the other issues like systemic issues and healthcare, or and how that affects our health, or how our relationships are affecting our health, etc. So I'm going to start with the more existential, spiritual, and that is how I see it is the foundation of everything. Before we are bodies, we are spirits or souls or energies, unique energies, whatever you want to call it. We are made of the unseen. And it produces the seen, our physical selves. But I would say the most important thing, one of the most important, beneficial, rewarding, helpful things you can do, and this is a little bit heavy / loaded for a lot of us, is meditate. Meditate. And some misconceptions around meditation is that you are stopping your thoughts, you're stopping your thinking. And maybe there are some gurus, advanced gurus who can do that. But if you close your eyes for just a few seconds and try to be still, immediately you'll start thinking. Or like I said in the previous episode, thoughts are thinking you. Your brain thinks, it's what it does. Thoughts cross through. And we often in meditation, we see that as an issue, like, oh, this is so annoying. My brain is so thinking. But that's the whole point of it. The whole point of meditation is to observe what is happening without judgment, without attachment. So without judgment, like, oh, I shouldn't have thought that thought. Oh, that's a bad thought. Oh, that's a good thought. I want to follow that one. Without attachment is neither clinging to one thought or trying to push away one thought. It's kind of like just letting it pass, like clouds in the sky. You can't reach out and grab a cloud and just say, you stay there. We're so used to the clouds just changing shape and moving along in the sky. So you can imagine your mind is the sky and your thoughts are the clouds. And you don't need to change them. You don't need to grab them. You don't need to push them away or make anything happen. And that's kind of a relief. You can just let it be. And there are so many forms of meditation. So you can sit out in stillness and just be in nature, closing your eyes or opening your eyes, noticing the sounds, checking in with your body and doing a body scan. That can be a form of meditation. You can do breathing meditations where you focus on your breath. You can do chakra meditations, noticing and staying with different parts of your body. You can connect with the spiritual realm, your guides, the universe, and connect with those things that are unseen. You can do visualization meditations where you're envisioning a future self. So many meditations. But the reason I say that it's one of the best practices is because we so often, all of us, by default, we usually let our brains run the show. And our brain's job is to protect us from danger. Our brain's job is to think thoughts. Our brain's job is to plan and strategize and categorize. And these are great, they serve us. But when we only let our brains be in control, kind of like only focusing on the mental side of things, we're not attending to our emotional self or spiritual self, our physical self, our social, environmental, the other parts. And what meditation calls us to do is to simply notice and observe. And it might be hard at first, especially if you don't have a practice or if it's been a while, but even just dedicating 1 to 5 minutes a day of just sitting still and observing what's happening, you start to develop some non-reactivity where you're not just reacting to everything that happens, whether it's thought, whether it's someone else's action, whether it's a circumstance. You give yourself more pause and space between what is happening. And so you have more ability to act in a way that you want to, not just how you might knee-jerk respond or react. The other thing about meditation, and I'm going to go even deeper, so let's go to the basement, let's go down a level deeper, is that it connects you with who you really are, that soul, that energy, that essence. Because at some point, when you're observing these thoughts, you might ask yourself, who is the one observing? And it's just fun. So start with just noticing sounds, noticing your breath, maybe noticing sensations in your body, just very small things for a short amount of time, and stay within your capacity. So if you notice yourself freaking out or getting very uncomfortable, maybe make some adjustments, maybe open your eyes, maybe focus on something that is less activating. And by the way, if you would like to explore this somatically, I would love to support you in it. But what happens when we go down to the basement and we start to wonder, who is observing this? Next level meditation. Who is the one observing this? Whoa, I am really not my thoughts. Whoa, I am really not my emotions. I am the one experiencing them. And I can choose which ones to get on board with, which clouds to ride, or like I said in a previous episode, which cars to get in. Or I can not ride that drama. I could stay out of that drama, that mind drama, that emotional drama. And the thing is, our bodies are directly affected by our brain's thoughts. So if you think a fearful thought like, oh no, I ate too much cake last night, I'm going to be fat and lazy, and all my worst fears are going to come true, and I'm never going to be healthy, and I'm never going to have the body I want, or whatever. I'm not saying those thoughts are right or wrong. We're just saying they're thoughts. If you get involved in that, your body's going to feel and respond, maybe with discomfort, maybe with a sharpness somewhere in your body. And the more you can observe that without jumping in, so to speak, the more you understand that you are not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. So who is the one observing? And I know that's a deeply existential question, but the more you sit with that and practice that, the more you realize that you are all, that you are connected with everything, that there is something deeper inside of you than just the thoughts playing in your head or the emotions surging through your body. You're so much more. And the more you can connect with that deeper self, that you, the real you, the thing that is connected with everything, the more life flows. It's kind of like there's an invisible energy field slash thread that exists in the earth and everything beyond what we can see. We can only see a small portion of quote unquote reality as humans. But the more you can connect with that deeper part of you, the more you see how much else is going on in the world. Like synchronicities start to happen, gifts start to come into your life that you didn't realize before. You start to understand people better and yourself better on a different level. You can read the energy in a room like that. And some of us have practiced this already. You might be someone who practices this, but you can even grow that sense more. It's like a superpower. Another reason that this is meditation is so beneficial for health, you're like, what if, Michelle, what does this have to do with exercise or food? And you've probably heard of mindful eating and, yoga and connecting with your body. And it is something similar to that. But there's so much drama that we have around movement and food and other areas of our lives. So it's not just limited, but we're focusing on this. Like, I should exercise, blah, blah, blah. And the more we sit in meditation, the more we realize, oh, is that a thought? Is that something that I want to adopt? Is that something that serves me, that helps me? Or is this kind of limiting me? With food, the more you practice meditation, the more mindful you become of triggers, responses, results, patterns. And really, the more you can truly enjoy your food when you slow down and connect with what is actually in front of you without making it a good or bad moral thing. You can just notice what is actually happening. You can be better at observing what is going on in your body. And this is a practice we can develop intentionally through eating. But when you are practicing it in meditation and giving yourself a focused, separate time to do this, the more powerful you become in all areas of your life. Okay, so that's the mindset, existential. I don't want to say mindset. Let's say existential, spiritual side of you. That's one of the best things you can do, hands down. I think that the world would be so much better if more of us, not the faux, I'm so great, I'm so spiritual, like, white guy with dreadlocks in a lotus position. You know what I was thinking the other day? I like never sit cross-legged with my hands on my knees in meditation. I pretty much am always lying down in the most comfortable position I can be in, blanket over me, head on a comfortable pillow. Sometimes I fall asleep, sometimes I don't, but that's how I meditate. It doesn't have to be like punishing yourself or sitting in this strict posture. It can be comfortable, it can be easy, it can be fun. It's like you're closing your eyes and you're entering a different realm or a deeper realm of what actually is. Okay, and for movement, do something every day. That's all I'm going to say. That's my biggest advice. Do something every day, whether it is a walk, like a 5-minute walk. I'm not saying go to the gym every day. I'm not saying do a workout every day. Do something every day. And in the 4-H method and with my clients, I call it my something. So every day I do my something. I listen to my body. I check in. I know I'm no better or worse if I do my something. It's just my something. If it's the smallest thing, I'll do it. If it's a bigger thing and I feel like it, I'll do it. But do something every day. Think about, how can I move today in a way that feels good? What would make my body feel more alive? That's another good question. And sometimes when we are not working out for a while or not exercising or not regular, it's really hard to get that momentum. So something you can do is just start super, super small. And the thing that we most trip up on is we say, it doesn't count. especially with people who experience disordered exercise and eating behaviors, or people who are recovering or struggling with eating disorders. There's this idea that it doesn't count unless it's hard. It doesn't count unless it's super intense. It doesn't count unless it's super long, X minutes long, X calories burned, X miles reached. It doesn't count unless I'm suffering or my heart rate goes super high. And something that we practice is slowing down and allowing a little bit to be something. It's all something. That's like the biggest hurdle with movement that I see in clients, is that they think it has to be big and difficult and strenuous. But newsflash, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be in pain. You don't have to sweat or be sore or struggle for it to count. You don't have to sweat or be sore or struggle for it to count. You don't have to sweat, be sore, or struggle for it to count. Instead, ask yourself what would feel good and do it. Maybe that's stretching. Maybe that's going for a walk. Maybe a light jog. Maybe it's lifting heavy things. Okay, so that's my biggest advice for movement. My biggest advice for food. Of course, I'm not really gonna go into the mindset stuff here. And I'm disliking that word mindset more and more because it's just negative connotations. But in the food aspect, drink water. Drink a good amount of water, and remember that your needs for water change depending on your activity level, the environment around you, how dry it is or how humid it is, how much you're sweating in your activities. It also depends on your size. So if you are, depending on how much you weigh, your height, how tall you are, how big you are, in the most positive way, or how small you are or short you are. We love small shorties and we love tall biggies. Is that okay to say? Big tallies. We love big tallies and small shorties. You need to drink different amounts of liquid, but we are made up of mostly water, and water is life. So drink water. Another thing is to prioritize produce and protein. That's just so simple. Prioritize protein and produce. Prioritize produce and protein. So produce is going to give you, is like the veggies. It's like the fruits, the raw stuff, the stuff that has fiber, the stuff that has micronutrients, the colorful things, the beautiful things that enhance flavors that you can have fun with. Produce. The stuff that's in the produce aisle. Have produce. And I'm not complicating it, just have something. Have a few servings a day. Eat some for lunch and dinner and breakfast. Include something producey in your meals. Next thing, protein. And I know, protein has gotten a good rap and now it's getting a bad rap. Everything has protein in it. And then now people are like, oh, fuck all this protein. You don't need to be eating protein. To be fair, American dieters, people who are Americans with diets in America, don't really suffer from a risk of protein deficiency. But protein is good for you in that it builds muscle. It is the building blocks of our bodies. And now with GLP-1s, semaglutides, and all the other ones that are coming out, the pill form, you are at a much, much higher risk of protein loss and muscle mass loss, which is like losing gold in your body, losing muscle mass, especially for women, especially as you age, especially if you don't strength train or resistance train. So eating protein is even more important for people who are on GLP-1s. And even if you're not, a lot of us don't get as much protein as we would be benefited from. So a nice way to calculate it is take your body weight in kilos. So let's just say, for example, you weigh 100 kilos. you want to get at least 1 gram of protein per kilo. So about 2.2 pounds you're looking at, or about 0.6 grams of protein per body pound of weight. So you can, if you know your weight, or just put in an estimate, let's say 150, and you want to get 60% of that, 90 is your goal target. Or yeah. So at least 1 gram of protein per kilogram. So if you weigh 100 kilos, you're aiming for at least 100 grams. And that's like a minimum number, but if you want to build muscle or fight muscle loss 1.2 to 1.6, you can even go all the way up to 2.2 if you're in like a bulk mode, or you're like really wanting to build muscle. 2.2 per kilos in weight. So protein, produce, water. It's so simple, right? But then why do we have all this drama around it? Meditate, spend time being with yourself, observing what's going on without judgment or attachment, with compassion and kindness. Move in some way every day. Drink water or liquids, hydrating liquids. Focus on produce and protein. It's very simple. But as you might know, how to implement these things, how to not feel sucky while doing them, that is often the issue. And that's why it's helpful to get outside support. For our mental health, we get therapy. For our physical, medical health, we have doctors. For our cars, we go to the car shops. For food, we go to the grocery store. We are interdependent human beings. And so it's not weakness to get support or help if you are struggling with these things. It's empowering and enlightening. And in the realm of physical plus mental plus emotional, this kind of ties into meditation, but I just want to speak on our nervous system. And that's kind of a buzzword now, but our nervous system is just a system of nerves in our body connected with our brain. It goes throughout our whole body. We have two main different systems, parasympathetic and sympathetic. Parasympathetic is the rest and relax system that tells our body our bodies know it's safe to relax. And then the sympathetic, which is like charged up, there's some danger, something is happening. The more you can understand what is happening with your nervous system and learn how to slow down and observe and work with it, and learn what your body is trying to tell you, speak the language of your body. Oh my God, that is like the next level of healing, because it really reduces fear and anxiety, also depression, and other difficult things in our lives, just because we're not on autopilot with our bodies and we're working with our bodies. And I know that so many of us suffer from trauma, from PTSD, and I am not a therapist. I'm not a trauma therapist, but I know that working with your body in somatics, which I have been trained in, and understanding what is happening with your body, and even incorporating movement with somatics, is so very helpful. I feel like I've rambled a little bit, but I hope that this was helpful for you. And I would love to hear if you're struggling with any of these things or anything in general. Reach out to me if you have any questions or comments on what I've said, any corrections, perhaps. And yeah, book a coaching call. Those are my invitations to you. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye. I love you.